Hey, what's up there, YouTube? This is No Budget Duelist, and I just wanted to preface this video a little bit, and it'll be two things. One, I'm going to announce that I'm going to go on vacation for the next few days, so I won't be uploading any content then, and I won't be creating any new content. I'll have my computer with me, but I won't be making any because I'm not going to be at the hotel for most of the time. And yes, I am staying in a hotel, but I'm not telling you where because I don't really feel like you need to know, as if you care anyway. But still, and then the other point was, oh yeah, my plans for next format. Next format, I am going to be playing the Prophecy deck. Yes, the Prophecy deck, and I hope that they don't like print everything secret rare, and I'm gonna be like, oh no, now I have to get secret rare temperances for like 40 bucks a piece, or you know, it's just something stupid like freaking magical priestess and High Priestess of Prophecy, yeah. High Priestess of Prophecy, like 70 bucks a piece. Like, it's probably not gonna be 70 bucks a piece. It's probably gonna be like at most like 10 or 12, because it's not like Hornet where like it runs the deck. Although I don't know why Hornet's so expensive compared to other cards, but still, yeah. I guess that's it. Oh, and when I end up finalizing my magical deck list, I'm gonna ask for y'all to like trade me some stuff that I need. I might need more breakers until Prophecy Destroyer's out, and I'm not running BLS in the deck. I'm not planning on running BLS because that card's getting banned, or else I hate Konami forever. Still gonna play the game though, and I'm still gonna buy their cards, and it's gonna be like a love-hate relationship, but I'm gonna hate them like 10 billion times more. But if DMOP comes back, I'm gonna be happy. But I digress. Let's get on with the video. Hey, what's up there, YouTube? This is No Budget Duelist, and today I'm bringing you the first episode of a fairly short series that I don't know what I'm gonna call it, but it's something witty, or it's gonna be something straightforward up there in the title. So don't care what I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna name it at a later date or later today, but it doesn't matter. So, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be analyzing different decks that may be, you know, competitive, or that you might see at tournaments next format. And I built them to our current ban list right now. And then I'm also going to be, you know, bouncing ideas of, you know, different ways you could build decks, or different ways you could focus the decks, and things like that. So all that aside, onward with the video. So here I've got my Wave 1 Prophecy deck. What I mean by Wave 1 Prophecy is that it only includes cards from not Abyss Rising, Return of the Duelist, and earlier. So that means that you're not going to have, let's look at Prophecy real quick. Prophecy. That means you're not going to have, let's see, you're not going to have Hanged Man, you're not going to have Hermit, you're not going to have Empress or Emperor. You're not going to have Prophecy Destroyer. You're not going to have Justice of Prophecy. And you're not going to have their field spell, Spellbook Tower of Prophecy. At least I think you're not going to have their field spell. If you do, that'd be awesome. But still, basically this deck right here is using cards only from Return of the Duelist and earlier. So the deck list is as follows: 2 Break of the Magical Warrior, 2 Chaos Sorcerer, 2 Chariot of Prophecy, 2 Effect Veiler, 3 High Priestess of Prophecy, 3 Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, 3 Strength of Prophecy, 2 Summoner Monk, 3 Temperance of Prophecy, and then for spells, 1 Dark Hole, 1 Heavy Storm, 1 Monster Reborn, 3 MSTs, 2 Spellbook of Life, 3 Spellbook of Power, 3 Spellbook of Secrets, 3 Spellbook of Wisdom, and 1 Spellbook Organization. Now, I know what you're probably thinking about the last card, Spellbook Organization. Wouldn't you want a card that actually does something? But it does do something. If you've got your opponent, if your opponent has very limited options, and it's your end phase, and you just have this card sitting there in your hand, but you know that your opponent could potentially pull an OTK out of their butt, just out of nowhere randomly, that's when you drop this card. When you're in a winning position, and you don't want your opponent herp-derping you, and then just winning for, you know, just some random reason. This lets you take the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck, look at them. Your opponent doesn't get to see them, Then you put them whatever order you want to, and then put them back on top. So let's say if Inzectors didn't get hit, and they had Dragonfly in their hand, and they haven't used a Hornet yet, but they've got like 2 Centipedes and a Dragonfly in the graveyard, and somehow they still didn't search out for their Hornet, or they didn't feel it necessary to search out for Hornet, or something. They don't have Hornet yet, and Inzectors aren't hit at all. Or let's say you know they have Hornet, but you don't want them top decking a Dragonfly, or just different things like that. You play this card at your end phase, and then you look at your opponent's cards, and then if the next card would have been Dragonfly, you can deny them that Dragonfly. You can give them like Inzector Sword or Mystical Space Typhoon, even though Mystical Space Typhoon is useless against this deck because you don't ever set cards. Well, not even though, that's the reason why you would do it. So this card is really awesome just for that reason. And then all the prophecies I run in here are in here just because I want them. He summons High Priestess. He searches. She buffs all your monsters and helps you go for high level exceeds. And that's why I run 3 of those, just because they're really good and you want them because they help you get to your combo plays. And 3 Spellbook Magician is just really good because you can't really run 2 Spellbook Magician and then more of other spellbooks, because I don't like running more than 2 Spellbook of Life ever, just because it ends up being inconsistent. So that's why I run 3 Spellbook Magician. And then the 2 Chariot, just because you're not always going to have spellcaster type monsters in your graveyard, so his effect isn't always going to be live, but her effect will be live generally, his effect will be live, his effect will be live, and her effect will be live. And his effect doesn't even have a real condition to it. You just get stuff for almost free, except he's really weak, which is the trade-off. But still, good cards always have trade-off, unless it's Stratos. So then the non-prophecy cards that we're running in the main board are Double Breaker, Double Chaos Sorcerer, Double Effect Veiler, and Double Monk. Now, the Monk should be self-explanatory. You summon your Strength, and then if you summon Strength by ditching, let's say, Spellbook of Wisdom. I don't know why you do that, but let's say you had to. And then you get out Strength, you shuffle it back in, so now your Strength is at 2000 attack level 5. And then you just, beat into one of their monsters with a 2000 level 4 attacker. And that's a really strong play. And then afterwards, if you really felt necessary, then you could Exceed for something. And then we've got the 2 Breaker, just because he's a really solid card. Just to, normal summon, you attack, and then you pop a back row, or you pop a back row, then attack. He's got a lot of diverse things that he can do. Well, not really diverse, but when he does something, he does it well. Then we've got Chaos Sorcerer. Chaos Sorcerer can combo with your Effect Veiler by banishing, let's say, High Priestess and a Summoner Monk from your graveyard, which you're not really going to be summoning. So summon Chaos Sorcerer. Chaos Sorcerer banishes something. Then your normal summon Effect Veiler. Then Synchro for your Arcanite Magician in your extra deck if you run it. Then you pop 2 more monsters on the field. So that's the reason why I run Arcanite Magician. And then if you have another High Priestess of Prophecy on the field already, then you could overlay for Hierophant of Prophecy and then blow up spells and traps. So, I mean, it just combos and combos and combos, and it just depends on what pieces you have with you. So yeah, I mean, the Chaos Sorcerer to Arcanite Magician to Hierophant play is very situational, but you could run into it, and that is an extremely powerful power play. I mean, you're trading in a 2300 banish once and not attack for a destroy 2 but have no attack and mediocre defense for a 3rd summon where you're getting out a 28 beater that blows up your opponent's spells and traps every turn. It's basically a heavy storm late game. And that's just a really solid play. Now I'd like to get into other cards that you could tech into this deck. And these last 2 will only apply if the ban list changes to allow them at least 1. which these two will only be at 1, and this one will definitely be replacing Monster Reborn if it comes back, and this card will definitely be replacing BLS if it comes back. Now, onto the actual monsters. We've got Magical Marionette and the Tricky for our level 5 support. This is mostly going to be used when Wave 2 comes out, if you do decide to use it. By Wave 2, I mean the monsters that will be coming out in Abyss Rising, which are really good, and the Xyz monster is freaking insane, but it's kind of hard to summon in just like a fairly pure build like this one is. But the Magical Marionette, you use it to stockpile spell counters on it, and first off, it becomes a huge monster once you've activated like 3 or 4 traps. And second, you infinitely, as long as you keep fueling it with spell counters, you can blow up cards on the field. You just keep blowing them up, and there's nothing. Well, I mean, your opponent could Phaser you, or they could do other things like that. But still, it's just a really powerful card. And then the Tricky can special summon itself, and you can special summon it with Temperance. Keep in mind, these are all monsters that, in some way, will be summoned with Temperance. Well, I mean, except the 2 spell cards, but that's because you can't target them with Temperance. Now, onto our level 6s, we've got Chaos Command Magician, just for like, let's say you're playing an Atlantean deck, and they're just going to be targeting you with monster effects, then you just summon Chaos Command Magician, and your opponent can't really do much to you unless they summon a bigger monster. Or Dark Red Enchanter, which, this could be good against decks that aren't Dark World, because you stockpile spell counters on it, and then once per turn you can discard an opponent's card from their hand. And if you're running this in an Endymion build, then they would combo super duper well together because you're always going to have spell counters for it. And you're always going to be constantly discarding your opponent's card from their hand while maintaining a really strong beat stick on the field. The next monster is Delg the Dark Monarch. This card is a really nice target for a second Premature Burial after you summon a Disenchanter with it. Because you get to banish 2 cards in your opponent's graveyard. So you've eliminated 2 cards in your opponent. Well, for most decks, you've at least eliminated 2 cards your opponent can use. And then you get to mill them for 2 cards, which is also a very good effect. Yeah, you thin their deck a little bit more, but you're summoning out a 2400 beater and a 2000 beater in the same turn for 1600 life points. And you can do it again next turn. Except that time you can summon 2 more monsters, and one of them doesn't have to be Disenchanter, so you survive. So there are just tons of power plays you can make with this card, and you can really annoy your opponent with this monster, because you could go Premat for Delg, and Premat for Disenchanter. If you have Magical Citadel of Endymion, use Disenchanter's effect, remove the spell counter from Endymion, add Premat back to your hand, activate Premat, summon Delg, and then I wouldn't sack Delg that turn, just because then you'd lose Premat, and you don't want to lose Premat once it's on the field. That's what she's here for. So then you could sack her for Dark Red, and you could sack Delg for Dark Red Enchanter, and that would be an extremely powerful play. Ooh, I just thought of a crazy, like, kind of loop thing that you could do. You could Premat to Disenchanter, add Premat back to your hand, sack her for Dark Red Enchanter, then activate Premat again to summon Disenchanter, then add Premat back to your hand. And then next turn you can sack Disenchanter, then summon Disenchanter again after sacking her. And if she dies, it doesn't matter, because you just do the exact same thing you just did. Because as long as you just summon Disenchanter from the graveyard, you can still use her effect. But still, that segment took too long. On to Mutant Mindmaster. Now you're probably thinking, what the junk I'm going to do with Mutant Mindmaster? Well, I'll tell you. Enemy controller. Now, I'm going to highlight a word in the name. And I want you to guess what it is. Yes, it is Troll. Enemy controller. You go, this guy, activate, I don't know, Spellbook of Secrets, summon this guy, sack him for Mutant Mind Master, steal your opponent's monster with Mutant Mind Master, and then attack one of their monsters with it. Then you econ their monster, and then send it to the graveyard, and then attack with the next monster, and then later you do something with it to get it off the field. So you cleared 3 of their monsters by committing 4, but in such a way that you still did tons of battle damage to them. And you either forced them to use some of their outs, which in that case now you have an attack position 0 attack point monster, but you still have the econ in your hand. If they prevent you from stealing the monster, then it doesn't matter, because you can still go econ. And you still get your main phase too, so you can still set cards. On to the level 7 portion. We've got Medium with the Ice Barrier and Endymion the Master Magician. Now I already explained to you the Disenchanter Premat effect thing that you can do, which in that case the Monster Reborn would be a better choice. But if they bring back Demok, then it's a toss-up between Premat and Demok. Although I don't think anybody realizes that you can do this with Disenchanter yet, because I didn't even think about it until just now. If they bring back Premat, I'd be maining this. If they bring back Demok but not Premat, I'd be maining Demok either way, so it doesn't matter. And Medium with Ice Barrier basically limits the moves that your opponent can do, because they can only play 1 spell or 1 trap per turn. So let's say you spring a Dust Tornado on whatever face down card that they have. Or let's say they summon a monster and you activate Torrential Tribute. This says to them either 1, you can blow up your entire field and their field, and they don't use their face down response to it, or B, they use their response and they keep their monster on field, and then they could possibly beat you depending on what monster they summon. Let's say they summon like Insect or Dragonfly. I'm saying that because I know Insector is better than really any other deck in the current meta, just because I actually played them for a bit. But yeah, that's really about the only card that I think I could beat them. Well, that and like Atlanteans, because they use tons of monster effects, and Atlanteans are powerful, so don't forget that. And then the next monster, Endymion the Master Magician, I think that he pretty much talks for himself, because if you get out Endymion and High Priestess, then you're in an extremely winning position, because you just activate something, add something to your hand, and then you get spell counters and stuff, and then you keep summoning Endymion repeatedly, and you keep summoning your Priestess repeatedly, and you just keep blowing cards up, and your Citadel staying on the field, and your monsters have really high attack in comparison to most monsters that are being played. Now, you could even play Solidarity in this deck, just because it's pure Spellcaster. But keep in mind, if you're going to play Solidarity in a deck, you need to run 1 type only. So that's another tech card. I just didn't put it there just because it didn't really fit this deck. I'm going to save it because I think I'm going to throw in the Econ next to this guy. Alright, save, and I'm not going to exit. I'm going to go to Wave 2. Now, this is a preview of my Wave 2 deck. I'll be doing all the same. All the stuff down here is the exact same. It's just this one, I guess, is Wave 2.5, just like it's in the Wave 2.5 tin. But that doesn't matter. That will be next video. How long I've been? It doesn't tell me how long I've been recording for, so I have no idea. So we'll have fun with this at the end of the video. I'm sorry that it's going to be really long, and if you're watching up to this point, then you're freaking awesome. We've got double Effect Veiler, double Hanged Man, triple Hermit, triple High Priestess, triple Justice, double Destroyer, triple Spellbook Magician, and triple Temperance. Now, as you can see, the only monsters that survived are the only good monsters that really have any synergy with these other monsters, which are Spellbook, Magician, Priestess, and Temperance. The other 3 monsters that are introduced now are, well, 4, are Hermit, Destroyer, Justice, and Hanged Man. Now, you could still throw in Breakers. I'm going to keep Breakers in here over the Destroyers until other cards come in. And then I'm going to try to main some Chaos Sorcerers. And I really do want to cut down the spell count in this deck just a little bit, and then the monster count as well. But I don't know what I'd take out. Probably these Hermits, just because turn 1, they're not bad, but like, whoa. They just changed the wording on this thing. During the chain, it changes. So, like, that's awesome. Sam, a spellbook spellcard resolves. Immediately have this card gain 300 attack and increase stealth by 2 during the chain. That is freaking amazing. That means it's definitely, without a doubt, a continuous effect. And I just took out a monster. Oh yeah, Hermit. But still, as awesome as that effect sounds, it's not broken or anything. It just kind of interrupts chains. And I went to the monsters, but got Dark Hole, Heavy, Monster Born, and double MST, not running triple just because there wasn't enough room for it. I mean, I was running 44 cards, but I'm not going to make another MST to run 45. Even so, this card's probably going to be replaced by Night Beam, which is why I'm going to be picking some up definitely pretty soon. And then I've got the random Tecton Foolish Burial for Prophecy Destroyer, but I'm going to take it out when I take out the Prophecy Destroyers for 2 breakers, and then I'm going to find room for another Chaos Sorcerer. But that's until then, and these cards are coming out mid to late November. I don't remember exactly when. But for the Spellbook cards, we've got Spellbook of Control, Double Leadership, Single Life. Thought I removed one of them. Triple Power, Triple Secrets, Triple Wisdom, 1 Organization, and Triple Tower of Prophecy. Now, man, this is a long video. To go on with like random tech, Necroface. Yes, as soon as the Prophecy Destroyer comes out, this card is viable in this deck. Why? Because you're going to be constantly banishing your spellbook cards. Now, late game, this can be problematic if you're not running cards that are able to, recycle these cards. Simply because, well, now you have no access to them unless you still have the 2 leadership not banished. But more than likely, you're going to banish them just to get out your big monster because you really have no other choice or else you lose. So, what card saves the day in that situation? Necroface. Sure, it looks freaking creepy as heck. And, like, it's got heart and tentacles and all that other crazy stuff. And one of its eyes looks like it's kind of exploded. It's a baby head, and it's really disturbing. It's still a powerful card, and I'm going to change the picture because I don't want to see that. My brain just went poof. What was I gonna talk about? I don't remember. But it doesn't matter because you can use Prophecy Destroyer and Effect Builder the same way you would use Chaos Sorcerer and Effect Builder. Except that I think that Chaos Sorcerer is a little better in the sense that you have to have light and dark monsters in your graveyard and you banish them, and that's perfectly fine. And then you summon this guy, but you don't get to banish with Prophecy Destroyer, but he's definitely easier to summon because that just means you've used spells and not lost advantage or used monster effects. But even so, with dark monsters and light monsters in this, like you would use 1 Veiler, and then like I don't know, a Breaker has to die if you're maining Breaker along with it. But like these are the only darks in the deck, which is why I don't main Chaos Sorcerer, just because I don't want to main darks. I main a Chaos Sorcerer when the only darks I main in the deck are 2, and I want to keep them in my graveyard so I can summon them and not banish them. That's why I don't run Chaos Sorcerer in this specific build. When I take out the Prophecy Destroyer, I'm going to find room for them just because Chaos Sorcerer is really good. But down in this one, I have Xyz monsters that are supportive to the archetype and the specific deck. As you can see, I've got Arcanite Magician in here. I've got 2, just because 2 is actually pretty good in summon. Then I've got Empress, because this is a Wave 2 Xyz monster. And against range attack for each Xyz material, so it's at 2600 as soon as you summon it. And once per turn, you can detach an Xyz material from this card, shuffle your deck, reveal top 5 cards of your deck, and destroy a number of monsters on the field up to the number of revealed spellbook cards. Okay, you have the opportunity to pop up to 5 cards. On average, 2. That's what I would say on average, 2, because you run about 2/5 of your deck with Prophecy and with spellbook cards in them. Perhaps maybe 3 if your deck is that way, but you're going to be wanting them in your hand mostly, so usually you're going to be popping 2 cards. Then return the revealed cards to the top of the deck in any order. What? So, for free, I get to shuffle my deck, then pop cards on the field, then reorder my deck, so I know exactly what I'm getting for the next 5 turns, unless I use Empress's effect again. But the chance to destroy cards on the field, up to 5 at a time, and you get to pick whatever you want, and it's not a mandatory that you destroy all the cards for all the spellbook cards you reveal. So if you reveal 5, and your opponent has 3 cards on the field, and you have like 2 cards on the field, you can choose just to destroy their cards. That is a really, really potentially powerful effect. Based off of chance, however, but still powerful. Now, the Hierophant I already explained, the Exobeetle. This would be paired with Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger, just in case, you somehow summon 2 of these guys, or summon one of those and use Book of Life on a Temperance with Hermit, or on Justice with Hermit. Although I don't think that you would want to use this card and Temperance together to summon an Exobeetle. It's kind of bad. But you can also use it to summon Magi Magician Gal, whose effects are freaking broken, but they have a really, really high cost. You have to banish a card. So that might be a little bit of a deterrent for people, but you get to take an opponent's monster, or you get to monster reborn with their monsters. This one's temporary, but this one's forever. This one is forever. You get to keep that monster, you get to use that monster, you get to punch your opponent in the face with that monster, you get to, like, sleep with the monster. I don't know why you'd want to sleep with a monster, but, like, if you were born, I don't know, Insector Hornet, I don't think that your pee-pee is going to be feeling too good about that. Then we've got number 11, Big Eye, just because rank 7s are pretty easy in this deck. You've got your 3 level 7 monsters that you're going to be summoning up pretty easily. Your Hermit gains 2 levels each time a spellbook card is activated, and it happens during the chain. Hold on. So this card is activated, add level 3 Prophecy monster from your deck to your hand. Also, this card is mandatory, so you can use this card, and yeah, you can make Torrential Tribute mistiming. It's pretty cool. So then the last card is Photon Strike. What the junk? Why does my laptop keeps wanting me to grab it and like take it out of the deck? Yeah. And Force Focus and Strike Bouncer. Basically, they serve the same purpose. Strike Bouncer is almost better than... Well, Strike Bouncer is better than Force Focus, but Force Focus has like the extra 100 attack points, which just means so much more because it beats Dark Worlds a little bit easier, rather than one for one of them. And Photon Strike Bouncer doesn't do anything to them, but neither does this card, so it doesn't matter. And I don't know what you want me to say now. Hubba lubba ding dong. I mean, that's pretty much it. I could see somebody maining the other cards from the Wave 1 side deck in this deck. The cards I explained that were in this row over here. I could see somebody using those cards in this deck. Like, heck, I'm gonna definitely try it out. And I don't think I like Prophecy Destroyer yet, just because I haven't summoned him. So, I think that for now I'm gonna take him out. I wouldn't main the Arcanite Magicians because of that. But I'm also gonna be I'm gonna make Breaker the Magical Warrior. Breaker, comma. Wow. Hold on, KE. There we go. Although there's no comma. I'm gonna be maining probably a Turbo Breaker, and then Chaos Sorcerer. Like double Chaos Sorcerer, I just think that 2 is a solid number, and I think that a lot of people will agree with me on that. I don't know for a fact, so don't say that like everybody mains 3, so you're stupid. But I'm not stupid, and I know most people don't main 3 just because 3 is too clocky. Although with if BLS is gone next format, 3 could just sound like a much better idea, just because you're losing a Chaos monster. So you're gonna have to go back to the old ways. And then that also comes with the effect, like I said before, to make Arcanite Magician, but Chaos Sorcerer is just much better with it. And I don't know how to fit these cards in the deck. Just because, like, got really no room. I could take out the organization, but organization works amazingly with Justice of Prophecy, especially if your opponent has like no cards in their hand and they're in a losing position on the field. You don't want them top decking that Monster Reborn or top decking the like, let's say you're playing against Laval's, you don't want them top decking Rekindling if you don't have any cards face down, which in this deck you won't have warning or anything. So if they top deck Kindling, you lose because they'll just go Quasar and you'll be like derp. And I think I gave myself a splinter on this popsicle stick. And it's kind of a random thing to say. Although now my deck is at 46 cards, which makes me kind of sad. But, I could try this. I am legitimately going to try this. So I'm going to be uploading a dual video later on me using this 46 card deck exactly as it is right now. And Chaos Sorcerer play is going to be inconsistent, but I don't care. It's just a test deck. And I'm sorry if this was a long video, but I hope you liked it anyway, and I hope you like the video, like clicking the like button down there, which I know some people like to do and some people don't like to do. I hope you're the kind of person that likes to do it. And I hope that you like it because you actually like the video and not because you just like every video. And yes, I am kind of waiting to hit the stop button because I don't want to record anymore. But at the same time, I've got to do my outro. So remember to subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I promise that my next videos will be shorter. It's just that I wanted to do a long video about the Prophecy deck just because I happen to really love this deck and I've been testing it out for a while. And this is the deck I am going to be making next format, as I said in my intro. Yes, I recorded this after I made the little intro to this video. And I don't know. Peace out, I guess.